Destroys everything you have around. But blame others. Blame others. Never you. Must be the dog, must be the neighbor, must be somebody else. Every time. Not you. Never you. Not even once is you. Because you too fucking broke. You cannot even keep track of your own fucking pipe, man. But you're right, alright. But you're ill, man. And you cannot even see it, eh? Drink yourself a bottle better and feel better with you. It's all good. If I end up in jail or dead, it's all good. You were right. Keep up your story that I'm the villain. And I bothered you. Compliment you all day. Helped you all day. But it wasn't good enough, eh? You wanted the evil again. You can't stop. You want to continue because you want to be punched. You can only get punched, I can guarantee you that. But not by me. That guy wants to hit you right now with a bullet. But I want to beat you up, eh? Fucking goof. You need to be a fucking voluntary intake, man. Or involuntary. And you need to change your life, man. Because it's garbage. But blame others for it. It's never you. People want you ill all the time because they hate you, right? You were hated all day, hey? You hate yourself, man. It's right, obviously. You don't even have rest to give yourself a breather, man. Let that heal, man. Let this sink in. Don't give yourself that time. Because you are right. You're the biggest idiot walking around thinking he's right. What a fool you are, man, that you think you're right. Nobody is right in this, man. Nobody. Claiming that I'm fucking the problem. Fuck. We've got a long way to make, man.
2024 Firearms Incident in Garden River First Nation. Investigative Synthesis and Incident Overview. The morning of October 21, 2024, marked a significant escalation in public safety concerns within the Garden River First Nation, also known as Katagansivi. At approximately 9:20 a.m., a firearms-related incident occurred on Highway 17B, specifically in the vicinity of Surrett Lake Road. This event initiated a high-level joint investigation involving the Anishinabek Police Service (APS) and the Ontario Provincial Police (OPP), highlighting the persistent challenges of policing a major transit corridor that bisects Indigenous territory. The timing and location of the incident are particularly noteworthy, as Highway 17B serves as a primary artery for local residents and commuters between Sault Ste. Marie and the eastern communities of the Algoma district. The investigation into this incident is characterized by a reliance on modern digital evidence gathering techniques, specifically the solicitation of dash camera footage and other residential video recordings. This proactive approach by law enforcement suggests a scenario where the actors involved may have transitioned through the area in vehicles or where the incident was brief but highly visible to the public. The establishment of a operation and traditional investigative methodologies. The presence of specific names in the community discourse following the event, such as Ashley Francis Boissoneau and Ted Draper, while the immediate police bulletins from October 2024 did not publicly name suspects, the intersection of these individuals with previous firearms activity and historical events in the region provides a necessary framework for understanding the socio-legal landscape of the territory. Profile of individuals and historical context. The investigation of firearms activity in Garden River cannot be divorced from the individuals whose past interactions with the justice system have set legal precedents for the community. The cases of Ashley Francis Boissoneau and the historical mentions of George Edward Draper aka Ted Draper provide critical insight into the recurring themes of domestic disputes, systemic trauma, and the availability of weapons. The judicial case study of Ashley Francis Boissoneau. Ashley Francis Boissoneau, a 41-year-old woman with deep ties to the Garden River First Nation, has been a central figure in the region's judicial history concerning firearms. In October 2022, Ashley Francis Boissoneau faced sentencing in the Sault Ste. Marie courthouse for a series of offenses that occurred on October 3 and 4, 2020. These offenses included the unlawful possession of a firearm, the careless use of a firearm, and the possession of a dangerous weapon. The 2020 incident, much like the 2024 investigation, centered on a discharge of a weapon near residential dwellings on Highway 17B. The specifics of the 2020 incident involved Ashley Francis Boissoneau discharging a long gun in the darkness while two men, a former romantic partner Christopher Robinson and her brother Lee Anthony Boissoneau, were outside their residences. While the prosecution, led by Assistant Crown Attorney Karen Pritchard, acknowledged that Ashley Francis Boissoneau did not intentionally aim at her brother, the act was reckless enough that her brother informed police he believed he was being targeted. Following the discharge, Boissoneau discarded one weapon in the bush and was found with a second long gun in her vehicle. The defense, led by Ken Walker, argued that Boissoneau's moral culpability was lowered by these systemic factors, resulting in a sentence of time served plus 88 days, rather than the 4-year term typically warranted for such offenses. The recurrence of firearms activity in the same geographic area in 2024 raises significant questions about the long-term effectiveness of restorative justice measures in preventing recidivism or addressing the proliferation of weapons in the community. Ted Draper to the October 2024 shooting. Historical accounts also detail a legacy of conflict involving police and the Draper family. One specific oral history account mentions a chief of police who, while intoxicated, sought out and killed a man in front of a brewery, an incident that has been preserved in regional memory as a foundational example of police misconduct and violence involving local families. In the context of the 2024 investigation, the inclusion of Ted Draper likely refers to a contemporary resident or individual of interest whose movements or associations are being scrutinized by the APS and OPP. The historical echoes of violence, both by and against the Draper family, create a complex backdrop for modern investigators. It suggests that community police relations are not merely a product of current events but are influenced by a deep-seated collective memory of past trauma and systemic failure. Spatiotemporal and tactical analysis of the 2024 shooting. The shooting on October 21, 2024, occurred at 9:20 a.m., a time that deviates from the nocturnal patterns of many previous firearms offenses in the region. This daylight occurrence suggests either a high degree of desperation on the part of the actors involved or a public confrontation that escalated rapidly. A firearms discharge at 9:20 a.m. in this area poses an extreme risk to public safety. This is a time when children are often in school or being transported, and local businesses are active. The police request for dash camera footage from this specific time window indicates a belief that the suspects or their vehicles were captured by the passive surveillance of the morning commute. The use of a secure community portal allows for the rapid ingestion of this data, which can then be cross-referenced with license plate recognition software or witness descriptions to identify the individuals involved. Collaborative Policing Model, APS and OPP. The joint investigation between the Anishinabek Police Service and the Ontario Provincial Police is a standard but resource-intensive response to firearms incidents on First Nations territory. The APS, as the primary responder, provides the cultural competence and community relationships necessary to navigate the sensitivities of the territory. The OPP, however, brings specialized units, such as the Criminal Investigation Branch, CIB, Forensic Identification Services, FIS, and tactical units, that are often required to process a crime scene involving ballistics. The mechanism of this collaboration involves a tiered response. Initially, the APS secures the scene and establishes the safety of residents. If the incident is classified as a major crime or if weapons are involved, the OPP is integrated to provide logistical support and broader provincial reach. This is especially important in the Garden River context, where a suspect can quickly flee into the neighboring city of Sault Ste. Marie or cross the international border. Comparative analysis of regional firearms incidents. The October 2024 incident in Garden River does not exist in a vacuum. It is part of a broader trend of escalating gun violence across First Nations in Northern Ontario. Examining similar incidents provides a causal framework for understanding the 2024 shooting. Ginugaming First Nation, October 2025. A striking comparison can be found in the Ginugaming First Nation shooting that occurred in October 2025. In that case, reports of shots fired led to a shelter-in-place order and a community-wide emergency alert. One person was found deceased and another injured. The chief of Ginugaming, Sherry Taylor, explicitly linked the violence to alcohol, drug, and gang-related crime, calling for federal resources to combat these external influences. This regional trend suggests that the incident in Garden River on October 21, 2024, may also be linked to the infiltration of criminal networks. The presence of Highway 17B makes Garden River an accessible target for those trafficking illicit goods, leading to turf disputes and the use of firearms as a means of intimidation or enforcement. The arrest of two suspects in the Ginugaming case after a thorough investigation provides a model for the resolution that the APS and OPP are likely pursuing in Garden River. Sagamok Anishinabek in the role of non-lethal weapons. Forensic methodology and legal frameworks. The investigation of a firearms incident on Highway 17B requires a complex interplay of forensic science and legal maneuvering, particularly when dealing with Indigenous defendants and community-based evidence. Ballistics and scene reconstruction. In cases like the 2024 shooting, forensic investigators prioritize the recovery of shell casings and the analysis of impact points on trees, structures, or vehicles. Given the location near Surrett Lake Road, ballistics evidence can provide clues about the caliber of the weapon and the trajectory of the shots. This is crucial for determining whether the discharge was intended as a warning or a targeted attempt at injury. In the 2020 Ashley Boissoneau case, police recovered two long guns, one discarded and one in a vehicle. The forensic link between the weapons found and the reports of shots fired allowed the Crown to secure a guilty plea. For the 2024 investigation, the lack of an immediate arrest means that the forensic evidence must be paired with digital surveillance to place specific individuals at the scene with a firearm.